always reminded us, she goes, I can teach you skills, but I can't give you character.
That's right.
So that was one of the things actually we always talked about is having a meal with a person.
Yeah.
She goes, you sit down and you have a meal with a person, you get to really know what they're really like.
Yeah.
How they treat the waiters, how they treat the waitresses.
Yeah.
Are they bothered by the fact that they have to wait a little bit or anything? She goes, that in itself, you could truly tell what kind of person you're dealing with.
Yeah.
So I have a tendency to pose that to my members when I'm trying to find out what this real person is about, or if I call another city.
Yeah.
One thing about being unions, there are unions everywhere.
Yeah.
So if I know someone's coming from another city, another entity, I go, wait a minute, I know a local over there. I'll call over there. But that's how I ask people,
Yeah.
because it just goes. I tell them, I don't care about everything else. I want to know what kind of person they are. And for me, a person who has faith has a tendency. That's how their life is. They may be a little rough around the edge. Like I'm a little sharp tongue. I know that. I'm a little potty mouth and a little sharp. I think that's me being the youngest of a large family. So you're always scrappy. And being a public sector employee
Right.
who's in labor. So
Yeah.
we're really down scrappy.
Yeah.
But my faith is what is always centered me. And it's like even with the political. I
Yeah.
tell people, God's not going to care when I'm at Heaven's Gate if I was a good Republican or Democrat.
Yeah.
Was I a good Christian? Did I try to live my life as a good Christian?
That's right.
So I tell people, for all the issues that we have with the city, one of the things people have to have is tolerance.
Yeah.
And then also, too, I said, my faith, my values, my beliefs of what I believe in
Yeah.
is derived in that.
That's right.
And so, I'm a Republican.
Yeah.
City races are actually nonpartisan because it's not supposed to matter. The funding, everything for everything, not political, for the government, it doesn't matter what political party you're with.
Yeah.
That's why they're considered nonpartisan, no political. But I always tell people, I'm a Republican, I'm a Christian. Are they perfect? No, but neither are you.
Yeah.
So, but to learn tolerance, so for me, that's my faith. And when people challenge me that,
Yeah.
a little side mark to them, I just said GOP is closer to GOD. And I said, who are you to judge me on my faith?
Yeah.
And that usually shuts them up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I said, only God can judge me.
That's right.
The rest of you guys can take a back seat.
That's an interesting point that you make. As a pastor, every time you talk about issues like this, when you get into the politics of things, there's a sense of divisiveness.
Yes.
There's an indifference that's there that just permeates in the country right now. But you represent a large sort of base and community of folks who, although they may have differing political opinions, they have a shared lived experience with
Correct.
each other, is that they care and they think about things in the same way because they share workspaces and they're able to function together. And the only time that people sort of become divisive and very indifferent with each other is, online. But you deal
Keyboard
with
warriors.
That's right, exactly. But you deal with what the daily struggle of the people is right now. In your position right now, I mean, how do you, you are potentially, going to be, I'm already putting you up there, you will probably be the next mayor of Carson, but you're going to be dealing with different cultures. You're going to deal
Yes.
with different situations. Like how do you plan on navigating that sort of demographic there? You're already
Actually-
doing it, but.
Actually, we're already doing it. We're
Yeah.
Samoans. If we're not the most ethnically diverse
Yeah.
cultures, I go, the running joke is we could choose any ethnicity and we will find a relative who is married to one.
Yeah.
And we have mixed families. So
Yeah.
for us,
Small circles.
yeah, so one of the things was asked the question was, how do you deal with multi-ethnicities? I said, was that a joke or
Yeah.
is that serious? They said, really? I go, let me pull up my Facebook. I go,
Yeah.
let me show you my nieces and nephews.
Right.
All of my sisters were different ethnicities. I go, got one brother-in-law, Siamangi, German.
Yeah.
Got another one is Balangi, from the Dutch side. I
Yeah.
go, have a Maoli brother-in-law from St. Lucia.
Yeah.
I go, I actually do have at least a Samoan brother-in-law, too. But I told him, I said, that's never an issue with us in Samoan culture.
Yeah.
Is because we're so accepting to others.
Yeah.
It's more of whether or not that person is a good person.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the things, like, you have to show people by example.
Yeah.
Like I show people, you don't base things on what they are.
Yeah.
You need to see what kind of person they are. Stop
Yeah.
associating by titles.
Right.
That's why people think of, like when you say about the importance of labor before everything else.
Yeah.
Labor, social issues, work issues is what gathered everybody from different ethnicities and male and female.
Yeah.
so workers' rights.
Yeah.
And so that is one of the things I have to constantly enforce on my members is that regardless of where your background is, we gather together as labor because it's labor first and everything else comes second.
That's right.
I go, I'm not putting one above higher than the other.
Yeah.
I respect it, but there's a time and place for everything.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of ring everybody in and make sure they're focused on what is the bond that ties us together.
Yeah.
I go, it's labor.
There you go. Well, obviously, when you go up into sort of those echelons of public service, the issues that you will deal with in the unions and the labor will be very, very there'll be, some overlap, but they will be very different when you come into the sort of the city realm,
Well,
right?
one of the things I'll do is not do what any of them are doing.
Right now.
They are very anti-labor. People don't understand, or like, we're supposed to be community partners.
Yeah.
Us with labor, with our elected officials and city government or management, and also the business community and the residents. We're all supposed to be community partners. But our officials, like I said, have become very complacent and are accustomed to their way or the highway.
Yeah.
I said, there's a reason why there are laws that exist.
Yeah.
So one of the things is that I hope and pray by me being mayor, our employees will never, whoever in leadership comes in after me, will never have to experience what I've had to deal with, especially the last 3+ years.
Yeah.
And, one of the things is I always tell people, everyone has a purpose, and I know what my purpose is. I know my thing is public service.
Yeah.
I'm a public service, public sector employee. Did I think I was going to go the elected route? No, because I was very geared on building the organization within
Yeah.
and encouraging others, empower others, because I know that not everybody is like my sisters and I. We're very independent.
Yeah.
We're okay with doing things on our own, even for the first person to do it.
Yeah.
Because we're very set in the goal and we know of our abilities. And
Right.
so one of the things is like running for office, the amount of flood of support that I've gotten from people, and these are people who are not typically involved at all with following elections politics because they're quite honestly, they're sick of it.
Yeah.
The excitement is very infectious.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm constantly on the phone. I have to return messages when I get back
Yeah.
and tell people I'm on an interview. But
Yeah.
if that's one thing that's gone with our members, the residents, I'm excited because to get our people who are in my generation, Generation X, and then also the millennials, excited about public service, I'm so for it.
Yeah.
I'm a public sector,
you go.
person, 24 years
Yeah.
plus. So to encourage others to become more civically engaged.
Yeah. So before we go into a little break here in a second, I wanted to ask, what is your message to? What does it look like for Samoans in Carson residents? How has voting been in the past for them? How have they voted, or how have they not voted in the past? Because this is a platform that, of course, is open, very general, but it is also very specific. That you have sort of this, ear to the Samoan public, those who are here as well. And if you're listening to this and watching, also please do not be ashamed to share this to others. This is a fellow sister of ours who stands for everything that is part of the culture and our identity and who we are. But I just wanted to get your, what you see as far as Carson's history of Samoan people and what the vote has looked like in the past and what you would hope to see in coming up to November.
One of the things is I've always seen, because working in elections since '96 at the city, is that the Samoan community are not very public.
Yeah.
Versus the other ethnic groups like the Filipino community, everything, they are organized as a voting bloc. Like whether or not they vote the same way or not, they are organized. And one of the things in going through this process that I want to do after the election is to get an organization together that is, I want our people to be civically engaged in their local areas in every political party. I'm a labor chick. We organize. That's One of the things I want them to do is to kind of demystify the whole local governance, because it's very daunting. And this isn't limited to Samoans only. A lot of different people, it's very daunting. I was literally on the phone before I walked in and messaging somebody who wanted to know the process to run for office because they're considered it. So yeah, I'm going to take the time and show them. And what I find is that even in the union world is I'm constantly having to educate people. And that's when I realized that we don't really have any organization available that does civically engaged, get our people to become civically engaged. And so I would love to do that and dominate every political party under the wave of the organization for the sake of them taking the Samoan community as a serious contender and voting
Yeah,
bloc.
yeah.
Because that's one of the things is that we don't have any public organizing. So
But-
therefore our numbers are just kind of lost in the general.
Yeah.
But if they realize that we're a force to be reckoned with, they will come to the people.
Why do you think that's the case? That we are now in the year 2020, and we do not have a Samoan or Pacific Islander voting bloc here. I don't know the history of it. If it's been attempted in the past, But why do you think when we think about the Asian American community here in Carson, Long Beach, very organized in
They
those
are.
regards? Yeah.
Yes. Well, one of the things, like you brought up about the
Yeah.
story about the crab, it's the same thing. One of the things I've witnessed with all the other ethnic groups is that they support each other even when they are in the same field. They support each other. They're organized. One of the things I found is that we as a Samoan community, we have a lot of businesses, a lot of entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Why is it that the business community hasn't gathered together to create a chamber of commerce?
That's right.
A Samoan Chamber of Commerce, so that you funnel all the different resources, and so that people have a resource of where to go to support our people.
Yeah.
You have a lot of different Black communities getting together. They put everything organized. We should be doing that. We should be supporting our Samoan brothers and sisters in whatever business they do. We should be organized, and we should be supporting them, or at least even know they exist.
Yeah.
That's the problem, is that the Samoan community, too many chiefs and not enough Indians. Because whenever I've seen at the city, somebody would start something, good intentions, but then when other individuals in the elders in the community were not in agreement, then it would just die because nobody would back them and support them.
Yeah.
And I would feel bad because it would be a great idea,
Yeah.
but it would take like one or two people say no.
Yeah.
And then everybody else would just back off and not be independent enough. I said, our people need to learn. We've been here for how many decades? Yet I will be, speaking into existence, the first Samoan elected official at the city level, not just in Carson, state of California. I know there's one man who's, I think he's Samoan or Afghazi Samoan, up in the north. He's on the school board. But that was it.
Yeah. Yeah.
In California.
What you'd mean, Molinga? Yeah.
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 But
yeah.
that's just crazy.
Yeah.
And in Carson was one of the primary cities where everybody migrated because of the military. For those of you guys who are not from Southern California, when everybody started migrating to the States in California, it was wherever the cities were the military base. So in San Pedro, we used to have the LA base.
Yeah.
We used to have the base where the port is. And then also, so people migrated there, San Diego, and over there in, Oceanside, and then Ventura.
Yeah.
It was where the military bases were in the Bay Area. But we've been here for decades,
That's
yet
right.
we don't have a seat on the table.
Yeah, that's such an important point that you bring up, is that we need to support each other to the fullest. Listen, one of those examples right now. Anna mentioned that she typically votes Republican. I typically vote Democrat,
Okay.
and part of this is
Well, we
me.
still love you because
Yeah.
that's your sin. So God loves all our children, right?
That's my birthmark. It's ugly but beautiful, right? In
Is
a
that why you're
sense.
wearing blue and I have a red suit?
Yeah, that's right. But this is the beauty of it. When we talk about things like this, especially all of us who are here for me, it is utmost importance that I support my people, my system. And these things that we call political affiliations and parties, these are man-made things. Our Samoanness and our brotherhood and our sisterhood is made from God. And so in that regard, whoever that person is that we elect to be leadership, we know that they have been instilled with some of the best values from a very, very young age, and the foundation is already there. But I want to say also, before we go on to play a little song and break a little bit, that Anna brings up an important point is that she, as she says, she will be one of the first, if elected in one of the first elected into office. And
For the state.
for the whole state, yeah. And I think the other one is the guy Molinga, Fauunga Molinga, who is up north, who I know also.
School board, right?
School board, yeah. So this is, it's a huge responsibility to be a pioneer in anything that you do. And so, before we go to break, I want to say thank you for raising that point, and thank you for stepping out and being sort of that voice. So before we come back, I'm going to give it up, and I have a little bit more for Anna. But let's not do the everyone wants to be chief. We've had so much of that. Too much.
Save that for the fall of
Save that. You are, Kako, that's right. You have, there's a place and time for that. But when it comes for time for us, this is what differentiates the African American community and the Latinx, the Mexican American community, the Asian community, is that regardless of the political affiliations, regardless of anything, they rally to lift up whoever it is that will be their voice. And so I think we need more of this. And sometimes it also has to do with the way things, like you said, you're coming into this situation to change the way things have always been, right? And you're not satisfied with that being the future for the next 20 or 30 years. And I think within our own community, we need to do that as well, and have someone in there that can bridge those intergenerational gaps that we often experience. So kudos and good job to Anna for bringing that point up. Very brilliant, very articulate, and she's working with your average Joe and Schmo here, with the unions, who are the backbone, right, of everything that we do that keeps the city functioning. That's the blood vessels of the city, right? And
my people don't work, we can stop the
yeah,
whole
that's
city.
Right. Those are essential workers that are there. So I want to give it up to Kulepa for a little bit of break, and we'll continue when we come back. Ya, malo whaftai, ya. I le malo tātou atunu, mwhai on mai mua mai, le nei a fiafi, ya, o tau mwhai atu fōi ma ua ma le tua whine nei. Ya, o ia lea o lo whai ma tau mwhai le o sui tau wā i le tulanga leo o le mayor, po le pulunu fōi o le nei city o se tasi leo o city i nei Amerika i California, ia i Carson, ia pei lava o Carson, ia. Na fo e o voi tangata i New Zealand, Australia, wala to ino le city o Carson. Pei o i nei ana mua mai e le to tele o a tātou tangata, ia tele le si fo i lea city, ia na fausia le city i lungo o le whatuatua au lotu. Le si le city e tuatua i tele lava ia au lotu SS. Ia e te maua i lea siri, ia olo o ia i awhia i fo i male au asia, ia mana i tangata uli, ia mesi fo i o tātou tangata Samoa. Ai, malo le ua, o le vaenga luna lua leo le, o se taumwhainga po le maata noanga fo i, ia i le ngangana wha Peritania, ia taumwhai atuai, ia e peo na wha manatu, ia o le o vai aso uma o le a taumwhai ai fo i tofi nei, ia e sumai ma whaiaini ana saunanga, ia matali atu ai fo nia o tau fisili, ia e whaatau fo i le ma fuanga ese wala ona ia run, i tulanga lea whamea, o la o lea whautuanga fo ia i la tau uma i Samoa, mese i la tau lo o i fafo, ia tunu upe o nei o Amerika, ia mese Australia ma New Zealand, ia o le tā ua lava o nei me tātou o e sapsapai o tātou tangata. Ua nei a tātou, ia, maua le, i me waila ele ai atu wa taumwhai mai leisi, taumwhai a leisi e toso mai lalo, peo le, maasani ai le, ia tātou whaalongoina, ia tātou o mai whaatasi, tātou o mai whaatasi e support e leisi, ia peo le tāua whaina le polokalame nei a fiafi, ia ua mawaile avanoa ma le tua fine nei, so ana, I want to get into a little bit about your campaign efforts right now. Where have you been focusing on your efforts to get up there to the mayoral seat in November? And what would you like to see and what specific message you have for our community of people specifically?
Well, one thing is I would like everybody to get involved. First thing, you got to make sure you're registered to vote and that your voter registration is proper. For those of you in LA County, the website is www.lavote.net. And I can give these guys the link specifically. Yes. You can check online to see your voter registration. It is very important. In the state of California, the November 2020 elections is going to be changed. Everybody, Governor Newsom signed an executive order mandating all mail ballot automatic. You can still go vote at the polling places, but you will automatically get a ballot. It is very important that your address is correct because you don't want someone else getting your ballot. Yeah, that's the problem. And so it's very important for everybody. First and foremost, it only takes not even a minute to check your voter registration, and also to if you need to register. I just found out a couple of weeks ago a Afghani couple, older person, and the thought of me running for office is what made them want to register.
That's right.
Their own daughter didn't even know they weren't registered.
That's right.
But it was, they thought that their vote was actually going to matter. And so it's driving people to go and register to vote. I thought it was awesome. They're grandparents. Yeah. And lived here their whole lives, decades, but they're just now barely going to register.
It's never too late.
It's never too late. So I encourage everybody, those who are eligible to vote. It's very important. You know, I need your vote, but then I also need your money. So
there you go.
So after you take care of your offering for church,
that's right.
And make sure I'll give these guys the online link to contribute to my campaign. Campaigns are expensive, and I'm running against the establishment. I'm running against the current mayor pro tem, and the current councilwoman. They, as a combination of them all, have been in office for 20 plus years combined. we need to break up the band.
Yeah.
This is one band that needs to be broken up, and we need to bring in some fresh blood. Since the city's incorporation in 1968, we have never had an outside person for mayor. It has always been one of the current elected officials.
Wow.
Yes. All the way, I think the first mayor is considered the only outside person elected.
Yeah.
So, I think the timing was right. Everything in my job experience with the city, our upbringing with our mother, having us volunteer, do things with the city, with Alciva, back in the 80s. Everything has led me to this point. Was this in my plan? No. I believe it's in God's plan.
Yeah.
I believe we all have a sense of purpose. And if this is what's going to do to encourage our people to get out and vote, we need that. And if you guys can contribute, the online link is actually, you can contribute either check, credit card, or PayPal. I tried to check if Venmo and Cash App was available. It's not, but you at least have those three options on our online contribution. So I'll make sure to text it to you guys so you can upload it. So any U.S. citizen and any legal U.S. resident or business can contribute because it's a U.S. law about political contributions, but made it really easy. I made sure my treasurer firm, they already have it all set up online.
Good.
So it's a matter of clicking that link. And in Carson, we have no campaign restrictions.
Yeah.
So you can donate to your heart's desire and as often as you like.
Yeah.
So after you do your church offering, then you turn around and do one for me.
That's right.
Every Sunday.
So, I mean, obviously, there's a lot of restrictions right now into how you can get out. I mean, I imagine you would be out there, rallying folks, having things like that. But what are some of the ways that you're doing that right now and trying to be visible?
That is one of the things to struggle. So our main thing is social media.
Yeah.
The problem is because there are so many restrictions, either the state restriction or the county restrictions. And so you can't even advertise that you're having something because therefore, depending on how the people will show up, it will be considered an organized event.
Yeah.
So unless I call it a protest, which is allowed up to 100 people, any gathering of 10 people or more is automatic. You're violating our quarantine.
Yeah.
So this is why it's very important about contributing at least a minimum online.
Yeah.
And one of the things as a total disadvantage to me is I'm not the career politicians. All of these people have been campaigning for the last maybe, several years. So they have their big coffers and everything. So this is why I'm an underdog. I'm all about that.
Yeah.
Scrappy fight and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I get even much joy from the fact of all these contributions from all these individuals who are not actively, engaged in civics, but they love what I said. They love hearing me. I even offer people my telephone number.
Yeah.
Hey, any of you guys want to give me a call? 310-507-4661. And, just shoot the breeze, chat, and break it down to them. Because one of the things that I find is very constant across everybody is misinformation given by the city. Yeah. So our general residents are following a narrative that's being spewed to them, and then I have to sit there and come in and break it down.
Right.
Why there's an issue, why I raised the issue.
Yeah.
I'm a regular fixture at the city council meetings.
Yeah.
And what I mentioned earlier about keyboard warriors.
Yeah.
Our city council has been very bold since we've gone into the shutdown and have been very bold and openly saying disparaging remarks about me. It's my duty and responsibility to make sure that the members have a safe work environment.
Yeah.
The city didn't take COVID-19 serious. There's requirements, whether or not you agree in the virus, there are requirements as employers that you're supposed to make sure the workplace is.
Yeah.
They disregarded it. They've had numerous meetings every single week, and now we had 15 positive cases.
Yeah.
I think the only other city that can top us is the city of LA.
Wow.
And majority of our workforce is not working. And then we have another good chunk of them who are telecommuting. I tell them the percentage of our members getting sick is way too high.
Yeah.
And so this is why the Department of Public Health had to step in.
Yeah.
And so, but, I've had every single council meeting where we've had the mayor, city manager, and the councilwoman constantly saying negative and disparaging remarks every single council meeting. And people were, you going to fight that? I said, no, I don't worry about that. I need to worry on the issue. Me getting butt hurt because someone said something about me is not going to help my members.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the game of typical politics, right? Is attacking your opponent, but us as our people, That's why elections back home work in a very different way. But we have, we have some sort of respectable politics about us. Is that we got to stay focused, and I'm glad to hear that you are not concerned with all of the all of the attacks, but you're more concerned about the issues that you come and you bring to the table, especially when it comes to the average working people. And like you said, visibility is important. And you are very approachable, very approachable, very easy to have a conversation with. And, there's a sense of when you speak to someone, you're not a politician. So you have not been,
Lord knows I am
you have
not.
not been poisoned yet. You know what I mean? And I'm sure the people are going to elect you because you will not be poisoned in the future with the average game of politics.
Yeah.
But you have a very approachable personality about you. And I think, once again, to let everyone know, get out there. She, Anna's also, we will have that ready, but the next time that she is here, some for you to contribute to, where you need to vote, which is very important.
Yes.
Everyone, even on social media, who's always sort of the keyboard warriors, badgering each other, whether you're Republican, whether you're Democrat,
Do
it
something.
doesn't mean nothing if you don't vote. It has nothing to, nothing at all. There's no substance to it
Right.
if you don't get out there and make sure that your constitutional right, that, is expressed fully, just like the rest of the country. So, you are, as you said, first generation American, and excuse me, that your parents came here, made their sacrifices here,
Yes.
and you want to make sure that you fight for, what's the next 20 or 30 years, the next Anna that will come up, and so, I thank you for opening that door, not only for, our Samoan people, but also, even intergenerational lines, that you have your foot in both, and also as a Samoan woman, very powerful and very intelligent Samoan woman that we have here, and knows her stuff a lot. I'm gonna give you this last opportunity to sort of say to those who are watching right now, any last words to them before we end off our segment tonight.
Well, I definitely want to thank everybody tonight for tuning in, and I definitely need everybody's help. And we'll have the social media handles up. It'll be Meni for Mayor, MENI, number 4 Mayor. It should be up, if not already today, it should be up by tomorrow. But I'll also provide the links over here for these guys. But in order to affect change, we got to have a seat at the table. And we have an opportunity right now to actually take over and shake things up.
Yeah.
I know that God did not make us to be complacent.
Yes.
And he gave us our own mind. My mother said, my late mother, Arietta, said that she did not raise a fool. And we have a mind for a reason, and we need to use it.
That's right.
So I ask all of you guys to share online, reshare everybody, tag me. Facebook, on a Meni, and on Instagram, Fob Mama. But the Meni for Mayor handle should be up within the next day or two, but I'll make sure to provide that. But we need to truly be represented and have a seat on the table, and somebody who is a true public servant who will serve our community with our servant's heart.
There you
And we
go.
take and bring our culture and our upbringing unintentionally and, affect everybody else with it.
That's it.
It's by action. Don't label it.
Yeah.
You lead by action. And then in time, they too will then start thinking that way. You have to change the mindset first. Change the mindset to really affect change. So if any of you guys, you feel free to contact me, 310-507-4661. Oh, I see a question out there. Are you a Republican or Democrat? I'm a Republican. I've always have been. My faith more aligns with it. Is it perfect? No, but neither is a Democrat. And once again, GOP is closer to GOD.
More than that, I think the answer to that question, she's Samoan, and that's the more important question, because we, even as a Republican, someone who votes Republican, you have also the interests of those who vote Democrat, right?
Yes.
I'm sure there are union members who are Democrats as well.
So those of you not familiar,
Yeah.
Labor is Democrat
Yeah,
city.
it's Democrat
And so the running joke is I'm the open. I'm their open Republican sister. So I'm the one that they single out and bring over and say, we do have a Republican who's active in labor.
You may be more Democrat than Republican if you realize.
Nah. I go, hey, it's all about tolerance. It's all about tolerance. And I tell all my Democrat friends, and some of them are dead set on being the one to register me to vote as a Democrat.